Oh, hi there. Didn't see you. I was too busy reading my new crochet magazines. Okay, that's a little bit of a lie. I wasn't actually reading them, and they're technically not all that new. These magazines were a surprise little gift from my cousin a little while ago. Where she is employed, if the books and the magazines, they don't sell, the employees are then allowed to, take their pick of the stock that's left and, take them home. And my cousin managed to snag these two for me, but I put them away in a safe place and then forgot about them for a couple of months. And I just came across them recently and I thought, there's a video idea. So I've never actually purchased any crochet magazines or anything of the sort before. I've either designed my own patterns or I've managed to find what I need online. But yeah, today I want to look through, we're going to choose one. My niece did see this one and she asked me to crochet something from the toy box variety. So we might look at this today, and perhaps if you guys enjoy this video, we can check out this one another day. I don't know what I'm expecting going into this video. Sometimes with my videos, I have, if not an outright plan, at the very minimum an outline of what I want to accomplish. But every now and then I'll be like, let's sit down, press record and see what happens. And for better or worse, today is one of those videos. And yeah, so today we're going to look through the crochet toy box because I was bullied by a 3-year-old. But I figure I would just pick out a pattern from here, give it a go, and then sort of rate it, review it. I don't know. First things first, table of contents. So we've got baby stuff. I think I can skip over that. I don't know anyone who has a baby currently, do I? I don't think so. Anyway, skipping that. Then we've got animals, dolls and bears, toys, and games. I thought this whole magazine was supposed to be toys. Why is toys a separate category? Move on, Lee. Don't nitpick the tables and contents page. So lots of instructions, which is good, and they come with full color pictures. I like to see that. Even information about yarn weights, that's very useful. Abbreviations, and even a glossary that defines lots of terms. Interesting if you're a newbie, but I think we can skip over that for now. More terms. Okay, here we go with the patterns. I'm probably going to fly through this baby section here just because I'm not interested in crocheting anything from that. So yeah, we can skip over these. Not that there's anything, particularly wrong. Oh, that's interesting. Damn you, ads, you got me again. But in fairness, I think it was last week's video, I tried out some new stitches for the first time, so my brain is kind of primed for taking in stitch information at the moment. But yeah, skipping over the ads. Koala rattle. I mean, that is cute. I just don't want to make it. So skipping over that. Skipping. And same goes. That's a really cute little lamb lovey thing, but I neither want one or need one. Here's where we get to the more interesting stuff. The amigurumi animals. So we've got a little piggy. Not gonna lie, the eyes kind of freak me out. The cow, okay, that's cute. That's really cute. Caterpillar. I don't know if that is cute or ugly. I think it might be rocking the cute ugly vibe, where something is so ugly that it almost circles back around to cute. I do like alpacas and llamas. Your eyes are kind of freaking me out. I don't know if I want to stare into them for too long. Bad things might happen. Another cow, but this time of the Highland variety. Unicorn. Personally, this style doesn't resonate with me all that much. I have seen other amigurumi design in a similar fashion where the entire head is sort of just one big oval and it's quite large in proportion to the body. Just something that's not for me. I don't mind a larger head on a smaller body as long as the head has some shaping going on. This just an oval. Yeah, it doesn't do it for me. It doesn't do it for me. And we got a basic octopus plushie. Right, moving on to the dolls and bears section now, apparently. That probably could have been a good project for Halloween. Maybe I should have found these magazines earlier. That was kind of what I was planning to do with my pumpkin spider, which I didn't get a chance to finish, but I was going to use the pumpkin for the body and then just attach all the other bits to it. Maybe next year. All right, now we got the toys. I mean, some sort of food could be an option as well, because my nibblings do have like a little kitchen set. They've got plenty of food. They enjoy having tea parties and playing restaurant and things like that. So some potential in that idea there. Again, we've got some food. We can put that in the maybe pile. That's rather adorable. A little amigurumi hot dog. If I did something like that, I think I'd like to attach some Velcro to it so you could easily stick it all together. An idea I've shamelessly stolen from some of the food items that my nibblings already have in their set. It makes things so much easier, especially when the 3-year-old insists on carrying the tray herself and then she drops it and all the items on it just go absolutely everywhere. Velcro has been a lifesaver in that respect. I'm too busy talking about food and Velcro that I skipped over what is probably the cutest character in this book so far. That is an adorable little robot. I really like that. Especially with the customized belly patches. I suppose you could make that pretty much anything you wanted. Customize it to whichever kid or adult that you're making a robot for. Robot might be the front runner at this stage. What page is that? 104. So keep note of that because we might be coming back to that page to crochet the robot. These are just basic shapes. Nothing too exciting, though I suppose it could be a good learning tool for younger kids. More ads. Not interested in that one. You didn't get me that time. And then games. Is that a puzzle ball? I've been wanting to make one of those for no other reason that I think they look cool. Maybe we have something that has usurped the robot. I mean, not that I can't make 2 things, but I think for this video I'm only going to be making the one. But what have we got? 10-pin bowling, noughts and crosses, puzzle ball. I am intrigued. And more advertisements. You know what? I think I might make us a puzzle ball. And by us, I mean me. It's one of those projects that has been on my to-do list, like lingering there for years, but I just never got around to it. But now that the opportunity has presented itself, maybe I can finally get around to it. I think what's always interested me most about the puzzle balls is the construction. Like when I see something that's like a little outside of the norm, like an amigurumi that has an interesting shape or it includes a different stitch, I'm always interested in knowing how was that accomplished? How did you do that? And then you learn about it and you can incorporate it into your projects going forward. That's the sort of feeling I got with puzzle balls. When I first saw them, I was like, how was that done? And I guess today I get to find out. So the first thing that we're going to do is read through everything we will need. Fairly standard stuff here. Nothing that sort of sticks out to me as in it could potentially pose a problem. The first pieces that we need to make are the wedges here, and we will need to make 12 of those. And before I do that, I need to decide on what colours I want to be working with. To level with you guys, I kind of like the grey paired with brighter colours, so I might stick with a similar colour scheme. But that means I have to go and get out the yarn. Got my colour palette. I think these are a good combination. Before I start, there is one thing that I'm glad I remembered to check, and that is to figure out whether this pattern is written in UK terms or US terms, because I looked at row 1 of the pattern here and it says to do double crochet, but then if I look at the picture, like that is what I would call a single crochet. So I will just in my head, translate it to the US that I'm familiar with. So with my wedges, I do need to make 12, and I'm going to be making those in the grey yarn. Nice big yarn vomit. Lovely. Always brilliant when that happens. And it seems we start with a chain 2 and then 3 single crochet like in the first chain from the hook. I'm going to start off with a magic circle just because I find that easier. And I know if I follow the rest of the pattern, it's going to make a wedge shape anyway. See, this is why I very rarely use, pre-made patterns. I like to make my own because I find myself terrible at following instructions like this most of the time. I make little changes and tweaks here and there. It's generally easier for everyone involved if I just make my own. 2 and 3. So that is row 10 complete, which is the last row we need to crochet around, but it looks like we need to then fold this piece in half and crochet it together. So that's an assumption at this point, so I actually need to read the instructions. Fold the half circle in half so that the end containing the hook is closest to you. See top photo. Insert your hook into the first row down the side of the resulting wedge through both layers, see photo above, and make a double crochet, i.e. a single crochet if you're like me and use US terms. Make 8 more double crochet / single crochet, working into each row down the side and through both layers. Remember to put your initial yarn end inside the wedge before, turn the page, before what? Before closing it completely. When you get to the end, chain 1 and fasten off. So yeah, we just need to pop you in there, fold the piece together, and single crochet these 2 sides closed, which is simple enough. I do this in amigurumi quite a bit to finish off, certain pieces. So that's all that needs to be done for the wedges. But now that I have my first, I just need to make 11 more. It's been a few days and I have completed all of my little wedge pieces that I need to. I was going to get really immature and do witch fingernails, but they're a little bit too large for that. Yeah, it doesn't work. But with them out of the way, I can now crochet the next pieces I need, which is the lids. So the coloured pieces here. And of those, I only need to make 3. If I had to guess, I would have said I'd need to make 12 to, pair to each of my wedge pieces. But I'm guessing each lid piece is sort of wave or ripple shaped, so it can cover a couple of wedge pieces. I'm trying not to read too far ahead in the pattern so I don't kind of spoil myself. Not that there's that much to spoil myself on, it's more the assembly. I kind of want to guess how this goes together before I actually read the assembly instructions. So anyway, back to the lids. I need to do that first. So I need to make 3 and make 1 of each colour that I have. And if I just read ahead a little bit in the pattern, I do think I might be onto something with the wave or ripple shape, because it looks like we start with 2 total stitches, then we increase out, but then decrease back down again, and then repeat that. Okay, so I can sort of see where this is heading, but like I just said, not trying to get too far ahead of myself. All right, so I'm gonna get those crocheted up. Hopefully that won't take me 4 days like the wedges did, but let's start with the blue. You know what these kind of remind me of? As a kid, did you ever have those paper multicolored streamers at like birthday parties and things like that? These have got the same sort of shape going on. So if I just twist them a bit. Yeah, they're sort of giving me nostalgic flashbacks. But anyway, now that I have all 3 colours that I need, and of course all my wedges that I crocheted beforehand, we can now move on to the assembly. The assembly is broken down into 5 steps. So we're going to be taking it in order, obviously. All right, I'm going to start with the blue again. Then I need 4 wedges. I don't actually remember what colour I was supposed to use to attach the lids to the wedges, but it doesn't matter because I want to do it in grey anyway. Sort of transformed now from a party streamer into a caterpillar. So 1 caterpillar down, 2 to go. I got 1 more step to go before I can put this puzzle ball together, and that is to turn my caterpillars into donuts. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for with bated breath, I'm sure, we're going to bring our puzzle together. So to do this, I'm pretty sure you just slip the first piece over the second piece and then the third piece over those 2 first joined pieces. So let's put the purple around the green and make sure that's all sitting evenly. All right, I think we got that in position. And then the third one is going to go around these 2. And once I straighten these last few pieces out, I think we're done. Let me just check the final instructions because I don't know if I've got to sew that down or not, or maybe you just leave it. So building impossible. No, well, it doesn't say anything about sewing it in place, so I'm just going to leave it as is. But that does look rather cool. I think I mentioned at the start of this video that I've always kind of wanted to make a puzzle ball. It's just, you know, some projects you want to make them, but you just never get around to it for various reasons. In my case, I was busy working on other projects. Now that I've actually made it, it does, you know, get the brain juices flowing. Wondering how I can use like this pattern or a similar pattern, or at least this technique in amigurumi, because like as cool as this looks, and like it does look cool, but I would want to do something more with it. Just off the top of my head, like I could take this ball and maybe add limbs to it. Because it's not sewn down, perhaps you could make use of that somehow to get some like movement happening in your piece. Perhaps you could do something that transforms. I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, but if I ever made a project like that, I would certainly put a bit more thought to it than I'm doing right now. But I'm going to set that aside for now, because sort of the main point of this video was just to like test out this magazine. I've never crocheted a pattern from a magazine such as this before, so I just wanted to give it a go. I don't think it's quite like ethical to give the entire magazine a review having just crocheted 1 pattern, but I can speak on the pattern itself, and at least this one, like the instructions were clear, if a little bit sparse for my taste, especially when it comes to the pictures. As an advanced crocheter, I would say, like, I had zero trouble understanding this, but if you pick this up as a beginner, I do think you might require a little bit more instruction. And again, I'm only referring to this specific puzzle ball pattern. I'm not sure what the others are like, but outside of that one little critique, the pattern was straightforward enough, easy to understand. You know, you have your list of all the supplies and materials you need, all that sort of thing. So basically what you would expect from a basic crochet pattern. Just, yeah, if it was supposed to be geared towards or more towards beginner crocheters, I'd perhaps like to see a little bit more instruction and definitely like a few more photo steps. As for crochet magazines overall, personally, I don't think they're for me. If my cousin hadn't given me these two magazines, I don't think I would have purchased them. Simply because from what I have seen, I would not make use of all of the patterns contained within one magazine. I'd probably pick out like one or two that I'd like to make, but like, to be totally honest, I would much prefer going onto like Etsy or Ravelry and, you know, buying one single pattern that I really like, supporting an independent creator, rather than going out and wasting, what did this cost? Oh yeah, this was $15 Australian, 20 US, 25 Canadian, and 10 in the UK. So if you were actually going to crochet every single pattern within the magazine, I think that's a fair price. But if, like me, you probably only crochet, you know, between 1 to 4-ish patterns from a single magazine, I do think you are better purchasing individual patterns from independent creators. But all that being said, where did I put that other magazine? It was literally here 5 minutes ago, and now I've lost it. How have I lost it? I don't think I've actually moved from this spot in 5 minutes, so where did it go? I don't know. Though I suppose it doesn't actually matter too much because I didn't use that magazine in this video. We might save that for another day. So before we wrap up here, I'm just interested to hear your thoughts. Are you someone who purchases crochet magazines? What was your experience with them? Do you think they're worth the money? Even though they're personally not my cup of tea, I am very grateful to my cousin for, you know, finding these for me and giving them to me. So I do want to get what use that I can out of them. And again, we might revisit that other magazine if I can bloody find it at a later date. But before we wrap up here today, we are going to do I've been sat here for like 10 minutes waiting for the heavy rain to stop. Because there's like a carport just outside the window there, and the rain is incredibly loud when it hits that, and then it echoes down the carport. And I think we've just hit a bit of a lull in the rain. So I'm going to do the hookup while that is the case. But if it starts getting very loud in the background, you know why. Okay, let's do this quickly. Today's featured creator is Cro-Shay Creations, and she says, "My name is Shaylee, nickname Shay. I like to crochet as a hobby and enjoy making homemade items. My mum helps me to make blankets and I do a lot of amigurumi projects. I love bringing joy and happiness to people with our handmade creations." I find that too. One of the best things I think about learning to crochet is being able to give those pieces to the people in your life and just seeing their reactions, like especially the kids. I don't think it is a secret on this channel that I do make a lot of projects for my nibblings, and every time they are just so happy to receive something, to the point where they're always making requests of me. It's gotten to the point where there's perhaps a few too many requests. I can't keep up with them all. It is genuinely one of the things I love most about crochet. So if you would like to check out all of the Crochet Creations links, they will be down in the description, and so will a link to the hookup form if you would like to apply for yourself. Thank you all for watching today. I've already asked, but make sure you give me your thoughts on crochet magazines. If there are any, I don't know, is brand the right word? No, I don't think it is the right word, but I can't think of the correct one at the moment. But if there is any particular crochet magazines that you guys think are high quality, please let me know what they are, because if I ever came across a magazine such as this where all of the patterns included in it appeal to me, I would certainly be open to purchasing it then. But outside of that specific circumstance, don't think they're for me. Thank you all for watching today. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Share it if you think it's worth sharing. And I will see you in the next one. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it is so loud. We are half a month away from summer, And I think we've had like 2 nice days this spring. I endured the cold the entire winter. I'm done. I want the nice weather. Please and thank you.